Shake it, baby. Oh yeah, shake it, shake it, shake it.
You, Colby. Colby ain't got shit. Hey, say what's up? Break the bell, Colby. Colby, win the bell. Win the bell, Colby. Colby Covington, win game bell. Let's go. I wasn't trying to take it there.
What do you think you can do to make that fight happen?
Me personally, I can't do anything. I think it's just down to money. I think on his side, so I will fight whenever, wherever he wants. But it's down to money, I think.
And you say he's afraid to take the risk. What do you mean by that?
I just think that at this stage in his career, he's had an amazing career. I just think that he's like 37, 38 years old, but not only that, he's got a million miles on the clock. So he's got a lot of damage on the body. He's took a lot of shots to the head. And that's not me saying anything negative about it. That's the reality of it. And I'm sure Jon Jones is aware of that. When you put him in with, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but I'm literally the most dangerous guy in the UFC if you look at the stats. When you put him in with a guy of my size who has them credentials at this stage in his career, I think Jon's a smart guy and he realises that, so he wants compensating financially for it.
And how does it feel that you constantly have to address this topic?
Oh, I'm well bored of it. I've had enough. We either need to fight or I need to move on and do something else.
I don't know why he stood so much if in round 4 and 5 he was able to successfully get takedowns. He said to his coaches, he's too slippery. Coach said, I don't give a go get me a takedown. He was able to do that in 4 and 5. You would imagine with more effort, he might have been able to do it in rounds 1 and 2. But ultimately, it's not about what Belal did not do. It's all about what Jack Della Maddalena actually did. He fought a wonderful fight. And now, he is the UFC welterweight champion. And you would think that when you get a big win like that, there's a lot of time to celebrate. Unfortunately for Jack Della, right away he gets Islam Makhachev. The UFC said the other day at the press conference, Jack Della wins. Makhachev will go up and fight Jack Della Maddalena for the welterweight championship of the world. Number 1 pound-for-pound guy in the world, and Della Maddalena will fly up those pound-for-pound rankings. This is an undefeated guy in the UFC, a guy that has not lost in 18 straight fights now, a guy that's carrying confidence of beating a guy like Belal Muhammad. If there's a guy to fight before you fight Islam, it's a guy like Belal who wrestles and uses it as his main tool and be able to defend in the way that Jack Della did.
So I just had a second hand surgery today. Not a major. I just had too much scar tissue in the joint, so they just went in and just like cleaned it out in there. But it was pretty freaky. They kept me awake for the first half of the surgery. And I remember kind of coming to, and there was like the curtain, and then I pulled the curtain down, had a look over, and I was watching them do it. They were like cutting into my hand, and I could like you could see the screws and stuff. It was pretty, and then I was like, I'll wait for a bit, and then I was like, nah, this kind of hurts now. I was like, can you just knock me out? And then they knocked me out for the second half of it. But all good, went sweet as. Be back to it in no time. Got my, yo!
4 days ago, they're like, RDR, Derrida, main event, Abu Dhabi, July 28th. I was like, wow, what happened to the other one?
Yeah, so what happened to Roman?
I don't know what happened to anything, okay? But all I know is that the date fit. I understand, like, he's not in the top 10 yet, but he just beat Bo Nickel. He's a good, hard fight. He had 2 titles in one. He's a hard fight. I'm sure he'll be in the top 10 before long. Like, he's a top 10 fighter, competitor at least. Absolutely. It's a hard fight. Let's do it. July's a good time. Done. So I just said yes straight away. I don't have any context of any conversations that happened with any of the other parties.
Yeah.
Okay. My only thing is, like, I was offered one person, I said yes. I was offered another person, I said yes. And here we are fighting in July. My big thing is, like, I don't pick my opponents, but I like to give dates. Okay. I like to give dates of when I'd like to fight because I like to cut weight properly. I don't like rushing things. I like getting some preparation under my belt, and et cetera, et cetera. So,
all right.
But everything's kind of worked out. We're 11 weeks from Abu Dhabi, main event, 5 rounds. It's always fun. You know, I love my face on a poster. Kids love it. So, it's I look forward to getting work done.
So have you ever seen Islam sparring with bigger guys in your gym? Welterweights or perhaps middleweights? And not just like wrestling, but I mean like full striking sparring.
Yeah, I've seen him fight with bigger guys. He beats them up. You know, he beats up everybody. So I've seen Islam do that. So I even seen him do this in Dagestan. You know, when I watched him go with the heavyweight, there's not as experienced as him, but he was a freaking heavyweight, and I didn't like it. I told Habib, what the hell is he doing sparring with the heavyweight? That guy hits him one time, even though he didn't touch him. But still, if he hit him one time, that's not good for him because he's a smaller guy. The guy outweighed Islam by at least 50 pounds, you know, or more. You know, I didn't like that. So I have seen it. Islam's like, Coach, it's no problem. I go, no, there's a problem. What if he hits you? He goes, Coach, you don't touch me. I go, it doesn't matter. He was big, you know. I didn't like that. I didn't like that.
People get so invested in this game to where they think that I'm supposed to be happy because he lost. Why would I be happy because he lost? I hadn't fought him yet. You know, it wasn't that, yes, me and him weren't on, like, we weren't the best of friends. I'll tell you that for sure. But that doesn't mean I'm happy that he lost. And as a former champion, as a former pound for pound top dog, as far as, you know, not just with the rankings, but also as far as selling pay-per-views, I understand what this game is. And listen, as much as we didn't like each other, it was still something that people wanted to see. It was something that was on the cusp of potentially happening. So no, I'm not excited that he lost. I'm not disappointed. I'm indifferent. You know, absolutely, especially when a champion loses. I'm not excited about that because it's difficult to, after you lose, it's difficult to get back. It's difficult to work so hard to get in there, step in there and try to accomplish something and fall short. It's very difficult. So I'm not going to prey on anyone's downfall in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So no, absolutely not excited that he lost.